All right. So, Swerve Strickland, we are coming up here on AEW All In Texas, where you're taking on the Young Bucks against Will Ospreay. Putting aside any professional respect you have for those guys, what is it about them that gets under your skin so much?
The entitlement, that they are owed more than what they feel like they deserve. So therefore they use their power to really abuse and shape AEW in a form that only benefits them, that works towards them. Like, you know what I mean? And especially when it comes to who they want as champion, who they want to be perceived as the world champion. They either wanted to be Hangman, and they only want Hangman to be the world champion so he can bring that title back to the elite, give them more power. You know what I mean? It's like, they already got an example of last year of me being a world champion, and like, I kind of bucked the system, and I'm the one that's like almost Neo in the Matrix when it comes to like me having the championship. Like, I'm just something they can't corrupt. So that's why they did what they did at Dynasty, to keep me from winning that world championship again. You know, so it's just that power of, it's control. It's a system control thing. And all Elite Wrestling was never built on being controlled by a system. And that's just a belief that we never had when All Elite Wrestling first started, even though I wasn't there. That was always the belief that this wasn't about control. This is about freedom, the release of the control. Not All Elite, but Young Bucks are trying to make that control system happen again. Which is not what this place is supposed to be about. And I feel like the best way to keep that from happening is us three, like myself, Will Ospreay, and now that Hangman sees the light of who the Bucks truly are, it might possibly be him.
Now, talk to me a little bit about Adam Page. Where exactly is your relationship right now? Because the two of you obviously have probably the most tumultuous history in AEW right now.
In the short history, we made a lot of noise.
You sure did.
You know what I mean?
You sure did.
Yeah. And that doesn't really happen much in wrestling anymore. Like I always felt like it's all about rivalries. Rivalries is what truly sells our business. It's the same thing that happens in boxing. You want to see like the Tyson versus Holyfield fights. You want to see the Mayweathers versus, the Pacquiao's and stuff like that. It's the rivalries what truly builds businesses. And I would say for a little bit, that was lost in wrestling. I feel like me and Hangman ignited it in such a different, unique way. That doesn't really happen often. It's very, very personal. It's intimate. It's very hate-filled and a lot of emotion behind it. And the fans see that to the point that like they gasp when we're in the ring together. When my name is said, people's eyes perk up. Like when he does my big pressure driver in a match with Ospreay, like people's hairs stand up on their skin. You know what I mean? It's like that's how much attachment people have between just our interactions or us being in the same space or mentioning each other's names anymore. And I feel like that's what kind of keeps igniting it over and over again. Seeing the people still have a reaction and emotional attachment to it. So even sometimes Hangman was out in the crowd and you hear Swerve House chant, or I'd be out in the crowd and you hear Cowboy shit chant sometimes. It's like that's kind of what keeps that's what keeps it alive, because it's like the fans are instigating it still. It's like, come on, you want to do it, and then social media doesn't help it. It ignites it even more. Like, come on, you guys are made for each other. We don't want to see you together. We want to see you fight. And it's like, so I feel like a conversation will probably be had very soon with me and Hangman. It's getting closer and closer and closer.
Absolutely. Now, with you guys coming up here in Texas, you're doing a bit of a residency. Talk to me about that, because that's not something that has been super common in American pro wrestling in a long time. Do you enjoy doing the residencies in one area and getting to experience that local crowd multiple times in a row?
Like Chicago and Philadelphia coming up, I feel like, yeah, I enjoy those. Like, it was really cool, the one that we had with, like, Collision in Texas, earlier this year. It was something different. It was a different, I feel like those are things, like, we're still experimenting with to get, like, the full benefits from that. See what, like, just like, building a chemistry and a relationship with those cities, you know. Cause a lot of times when we do those cities, we don't come back around for maybe like at least 6 months. So when you miss it, you're not seeing us for like another, for almost half a year, almost a full year sometimes. So it's actually good to give them like 6 weeks of opportunity to like come out and see the shows, and then like, make it affordable so they can keep coming back every week if they wanted to. So this is good benefit, and it's a good relationship to build like a trust with the cities, the community, opportunities for like maybe like, there's some charity work that could be done that's like have them come in and do the show. Like there's good partnerships that could be made with those buildings as well, venues. So I'm all for it.
Awesome. Now I want to talk a little bit about your personal preferences here as far as you have a big match coming up. What do you do to prepare for a match? Do you have a pre-match routine or ritual, or are you just kind of like, I walk out there and it's a light switch and I'm ready to go?
It's a little bit of both. Like, I don't really have like a perceived ritual, but I do have like a low routine. Always check on the body first. So the first thing I do when I wake up, I check on the mental, because the mental will carry long, way further than your body will, in my opinion. And the mental has to be straight. Make sure a lot of like issues is checked at the door, right on the wake up, and cleared out. And you want to just leave the hotel or whatever venue you are, you want to leave that feeling good before you get to like the actual preparation for the matches. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You got to feel good before you start prepping the body. So make sure the mental's checked and really good, and leaving on a positive note. You don't want to start that day or like going to the venue negatively, because that affects not only just you and your match, it affects the rest of the show and your locker room. So it's very tricky and tough to get balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Now, one reason that I was excited to talk to you is I don't get to talk to a lot of wrestlers who trained and served in the military, and I'm kind of curious, how did the military training prepare you for pro wrestling? Like, what did you bring from those experiences into what you do now?
I felt like that helped me with like going after things that weren't going to get done unless I did it. It taught me about initiative and urgency, especially at a young age, because I went to the Army at like 17, 18 years old. So I know certain things of like, if you didn't have a will written down, it wasn't going to happen. If you didn't like have your travel planned, it wasn't going to happen. Your laundry, all your duties, getting your bunks, like all the way down to the small little things of like getting your bunk prepared, your uniform pressed, learning certain like the soldier's creed and like the warrior ethos, and studying up on those things, and like learning your tasks and your orders. Like those things don't get done, and you won't advance if you don't get them done. So the responsibility always lied on you. So that taught me a lot about responsibility, and like really taking accountability as well. And it taught me about integrity, making sure like do the right thing even when somebody else isn't watching. So even like when nobody's around, still have that integrity to just like make sure you do right, not because like you get rewarded for it, because it's the right thing to do. Like those things build the character, and sometimes they do pay off later on in life.
For sure. And I know that being able to build that work ethic has probably helped you get where you are, because you're one of the top guys in AEW, and I know that gives you a very busy schedule. I also know you're a musician. Do you get much time to work on music these days, and do you have anything in the works coming up?
Oh yeah. This Friday we actually have a music video dropping on the 11th, when me and myself and Monteezy dropping the Emmett track. It's a music video, and the single will be available on all streaming platforms, and we'll be performing later that night around midnight after the Ring of Honor show as well, in downtown Dallas. So this is the music part. I don't feel like it's like, oh, do you have time for it? I'm like, that is my time. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like necessarily like, oh, I gotta share time with certain things. It's like, no, that is my free time. My free time is music. And if I switch my mentality to that, it never feels like I'm always working or stressing or anything like that. It doesn't feel like a task to do it. It just feels like it's just what I do. That's kind of how wrestling has been for like the past 15 years. But now I'm kind of like getting towards the end of like the wrestling part of my career where I'm just like, okay, now it's starting to become that workload a little bit in like certain things. So it's like now I'm phasing out of like that just being the life now. Now I'm finding other things outside of wrestling that can be considered that's my life and daily thing. And music's starting to become that. And I kind of want to do music to the point where it still stays like that. I don't necessarily want it to become like another task and another thing I have to do, an obligation I have to fulfill.
Oh, for sure. Now,
Yeah.
you being a top star, with it comes some things that are something a lot of people dream of, and with you got immortalized into a pair of sneakers recently. How did that feel?
It felt like it just showed up where, to me, man, this is how far the Swerve name has really gone. It's truly branded, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Swerve was just something I thought it was like a cool ad-lib in a song from Big Sean. And like, I've talked to Big Sean about it, and he's like, supports that. He loves it. He thinks it's great. And he's just like, and it's just like, wow, like something so cool as this rap lyric, or just like him saying something to sound cool on a rap song as a fill word, is now branded by somebody else to the point that it becomes a shoe endorsed by Allen Iverson, a legend in his own right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm proclaimed like the franchise of AEW, because I'm more than just a wrestler, and now it's a brand. Now it's just like more, and it's like spreading in the multiple different facets of things. And it's like something that was just like, once again, it's my genuine self. It was like not something that was put on me. It was just something I truly just felt like was me. And I felt good about it. And I created it when I had nothing. Now that nothing is making something. So it just feels good. And it feels like it was something I earned. You know, like I said, I said before that I started out here in All Elite Wrestling at the same opportunity that everybody else had. You know, I did the darks. I did the AEW darks. I stayed late for the shows. I wrestled early, I wrestled late, and I wrestled on Rampage, Ring of Honor, opening shows, undercards, you name it. I was there and I did it. So, and this is like where I truly reap the benefits of it from doing all those things. So I had just as good a chance about anybody else in AEW had, for sure. So it's truly just, the only thing that made me different was just like, I was just my genuine self. I was being myself, and it truly just never stopped working. I never slowed down. I never stopped. Like, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to like go fast, but it's never okay to stop. You keep going forward. And I was just relentless about that kind of stuff. And I just believed in it.
Awesome. Did you have much input in the design of those? Because normally when I see celebrity sneakers, I'm not that impressed, but I actually really like the design of yours. I was just curious how much of that was you.
Oh, yeah. That was about 8 months prior to the shoe releasing. I was already like getting input on colors, design, material, logos, wear the logo. If I wanted to keep the Iverson on the bottom of the sole of the shoe, I'm like, yeah, keep that there. That shows the collaboration. I had input and say on every part of it. I actually was the one that chose the Iverson 3.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They gave me about 6 options. I chose the 3s.
Well, they turned out great. And, I know a few people who've picked them up and they've been very, very happy with them.
I'm really seriously pleased to hear that.
Now, I am curious about something. There is another wrestler in AEW who recently had a branded product come out. Have you tried MJF's pickles yet?
I don't even think I want to.
Fair enough.
I'm happy for him. Entrepreneurial MJF is
Yeah,
on
he's
his
out.
way. So
He's out.
I'm happy
He's
for
out
him and
there
everything he's
hustling.
doing too.
Yeah, he's out there hustling, man. All right, so I think that wraps up most of it, but the way we always like to end the AEW interviews is by having people review a movie they've seen. It's just kind of a way to get you to talk about something outside the business. With you, I wanted to talk about something very particular. You had some awesome entrance gear that was movie inspired recently. Are you a big Predator guy?
So funny enough, the new Predator movie that came out on Hulu, it was Killer of Killers.
Yeah.
I saw that after I did the Predator entrance.
Oh wow.
And I knew it was out, but I was talking with Kenny Omega, and he was telling me about Predator and that movie. He's like, it's incredible. You got to watch it. I was like, you got it. I'm going to watch it when I get home. So after I watched it, I was like, I am so glad I timed this right with that entrance and that movie coming out. And like, cause I saw stills of like, the new live action. I think it's a, series coming out of Predator. And it got me thinking, I'm like, oh wow, I'm going buck hunting. Who's the best hunter in the cinema universe? Predator. And I just put two and two together to tell a story with that concept. And it just grew into the interest that you saw.
Now, do you have a favorite Predator movie in the series? Because there's obviously been a bunch of them now.
I mean, the classic is the first one with, with Arnold Schwarzenegger and stuff. I grew up on that VHS.
Me too.
But Prey is incredible.
Yes.
Prey is really good. I just watched that again.
That's my
incredible.
favorite personally.
Incredible. I just rewatched it again. Still love it just as much.
And the same director's doing the new live action one too, so I have very high hopes for that.
Yeah. They actually, in the end of Killer of Killers, they referenced that character from Prey. The girl.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be good.
Huge for that. Yeah. So I'm liking where the direction where Predator is going, the IP of that. I hope to see RoboCop eventually get that same kind of love. Like me and Kenny were just talking about like these like 90s like action flicks that's starting to come back a little bit. Like, you know, in video game world, you got the Indiana Jones game that came out and they've got great reviews. RoboCop had a game, Rogue City, that came out at great reviews. So I'm like, okay, these 90s, 80s films are starting to come back and really like get some good love and attention, and they don't feel like corny and retro-y and cheesy. They're actually getting a lot of love and like a lot of like modernization in the gameplay and stuff in film. So I just hope to see like more love in those 90s and stuff. Like, and if you want to count Rocky, Creed did the same thing. So
yeah, and the Creed movies are fantastic, and the fact that they didn't have to reboot it, but just were able to continue on from the original story makes it so much more fun, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Like, did you see that RoboCop movie that came out a while back with?
I didn't see the new one.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
I heard about it.
Like, you can't do a PG-13 version of that movie and expect it to be anything like that original.
Not at all. Not at all.